So what now for buy to let? Is it a good time to buy? Is it a bad time to buy? Should we go and carry on with our investing, or should we leave it for a year or two until things settle down? So in this video, I'm going to discuss why I personally think that buy to let is still very viable, it's still a good investment, and I'm also going to give you a few examples of scenarios where even though the interest rates have gone up and mortgages have gone up, buying a buy to let is still a viable investment. And no matter what people say and what the media is spewing out, if you get your numbers right and you learn about buy to let, you learn about property, then it's always going to be a good investment. So I'm Jason, and this channel is all about property investing and buy to let, and also helping people to grow their own portfolios. I don't know if you saw my last video, which was titled Buy to Let is Broke. It received a lot of views and a lot of comments, and what I found was a lot of the comments, well, a lot of the negative comments or the people that were having digs at me or being quite aggressive, strangely enough, all came from people that don't own property. Now to me this sounds a bit ridiculous, a bit strange, because why would you have such strong views on buy to let or property investing? And why would you say that it's so bad or it's dead or it's broke when you don't actually invest in property yourself? So let this be a lesson that if you're going to take advice from people, make sure it's from people that practice what they preach, make sure it's from people who are actually doing something that you want to achieve, or they are doing something that inspires you, that shows you the way, rather than listening to people vent their views and vent their dismay at property when they don't even own property. Now you only have to go back and look at that video to see some of the comments. Anyway, rant over, let's get cracking with this video. And firstly, I want to talk about something that nobody seems to be mentioning at the minute. Now all you hear at the minute is interest rates have gone up, mortgage payments have gone up, the cost of living's gone up, inflation's gone up. Now all of these things are true, and all of these things have a massive factor when it comes to purchasing property, when it comes to investing in property. But for me, buy to let investment isn't dead. It's still a very viable option, it's still a very viable investment opportunity. Now one thing I will say is it's becoming more difficult getting things through. Mortgage lenders are fearful, they are pulling their products off the market, they're making it more difficult for people to actually get a mortgage. I mean, I'm going through a difficult one at the minute. I've got my 7th buy to let currently going through, and I've hit a lot of hurdles along the way. I'll save all that for another video because I want to focus on where we go with buy to let from here, and is it still a viable option? Now, one thing people are not talking about is rental yield. Okay, now rental yield is a good indication so you can quickly see if a property is viable for buy to let or not. Now what's happened over the last few weeks is, or few months, rental yield has actually gone up. Now from an investment point of view, this is good, because if rental yield goes up, this means that the amount you charge for rent has gone up, because basically that's what the calculation is. So although interest rates are rising and mortgage payments are rising, so is the amount of rent that you can achieve. Now regardless of what is happening, there is a bigger demand for rentals than there ever has been. Now when demand outstrips supply, this forces the prices up. It doesn't matter if it's property, it doesn't matter if it's a product or a service. In any industry, if the demand is higher than the supply, the price will go up. Simple as that. And this is exactly what's happening right now with property. However, property prices have actually levelled off, and we're actually starting to see a bit of a decrease in the price of property. However, rents are still going up. Now nobody seems to be talking about this because everyone seems to be enrolled in all of this interest rate hike and increased mortgages, and people can't afford it. When in hindsight, yes, these costs are going up, so is the demand for rentals, and also the amount that people are willing to pay to rent those houses. Now let me give you a quick example. I base my calculations on a 6% rental yield. So for example, if I buy a house that's £100,000 and the yield is 6%, this means that the rental will be £500 per month. Now on something like this, the mortgage I'd be paying would be somewhere around £200 a month, therefore giving me £300 profit, obviously not before tax or any other expenses. Now that interest rates have gone up, say to 6%, that £200 mortgage now becomes £375 per month. However, because the rental yield's gone up, because the rental market is in high demand and prices gone up, you can charge another £150, another £180 more per month than you could do before. So what I'm trying to say is, you've still got the same difference between your mortgage outgoings and your rental income. It's still around £300. That's what I base mine on, and that's what I'm currently seeing broadly across the market. Now there's a property just around the corner from me. It's only a 2-bed terraced, and in that street they were fetching around £550 per month for rent. This week, one of those properties has just gone on the market for £675 per month rental. Now this was completely unheard of a few months ago, but now it's actually achievable, it's actually realistic. So although interest rates have gone up, please keep in mind that rents have also gone up. And I know there will be people sitting here watching this thinking, yes, well, people just aren't going to be able to afford it. The cost of living, energy prices, fuel, food, inflation's pushing everything up. So people just won't be able to afford these homes. Well, we could say this about everybody, even people who own their own homes, people who are on residential mortgages. The same applies to them as well. Therefore, the same is going to apply to tenants, to people that rent houses. So where I was aiming at a 6% yield before, now you can easily achieve 7, 8, even 9% yields because the rental's gone up, the rental demand's gone up, and property prices have remained the same. That's what's happening, and that's the era we're going into now. So that terraced house that I used to charge £475 for, they're going up for £675 now. So there is a big difference, and there is leeway to play with. If your mortgage is going up £200, then the likelihood is the rent's going to go up £200. Now, I'm certainly not one for just putting the rent up. I've had to do it recently with my tenants. The first time ever I've had to put the rent up, and I've only put it up by £15, even though some of my mortgages have gone up by £60, £70, £80. Remember to be kind to your tenants, treat them well. I've got enough cash flow to be able to take this hit. I don't want to put my tenants in a situation where they can't afford or they're struggling, and I certainly don't want to force them out of the house. So remember, it'll always pay off to be nice to your tenants, treat them well and have respect for them. Don't just treat them as a cash cow, or as somebody mentioned in one of the comments on the other one, taking money from the poor. It's one of the most ridiculous comments I've heard, but if some people see it like that, that's their problem. As a landlord, we're certainly not here to do that. My job is to provide a nice, comfortable home for people that want to rent. Now there's this argument that goes around that landlords are taking up all the properties for people that want to get on the property market. Again, this is the biggest load of rubbish I've heard. There are in fact a lot of people that do want to rent over owning their own home. That's a fact. So if you want to be a landlord, if you want to be into property, then make sure you treat it as a proper business or service where you're providing something for somebody, in this case a home. Therefore, make sure that the home is very livable, to a good standard, and make sure that you treat them well and stay on top of things when inevitably things will go wrong. What's going to start to happen now is house prices that have been going up over the last few years are now stabling out, becoming level, even dropping a little bit, whereas rents are still going up. Now, if rents are still going up, but property prices have halted, then that means the yield is going to be higher. So if you put all this together, buy-to-let is still a viable investment option. It's still worth doing. It will still give you good cash flow. And as we know, over time, property always goes up in value. Yes, we might see a crash, we might see a decline in property prices, but from a buy-to-let investment point of view, you're still going to have that cash flow, you're still going to have that income, you're still going to have capital appreciation on your property over the years. Now, even if rents don't go up and you only just break even after your mortgage payments, your expenses, then if you can ride that out for a couple of years, things will start to change again. Interest rates are likely to come back down, or rents will go up, or whatever factor it may be, it will balance itself out. Just because things are fearful at the minute, things are not going good, everybody jumps on the bandwagon and starts saying that, no, get out of property, sell up, it's not good, don't bother with it. And as I said at the start, most of this poor advice comes from people who don't own any property. So all in all, for me personally, I'll still be investing into property. Yes, it will be difficult. It will be harder than it was before because to get mortgages, you have to jump through more hoops. Mortgage lenders are fearful. Mortgage lenders don't want to be lending out money when they think the interest rates are going to go up even more. I've even seen it recently. I've had mortgage lenders come up with excuses. They do what they can to pull out. They do what they can to scupper the purchase because they know that interest rates are going to go up when they've already locked in a good rate with you. They don't really want to do it, so they'll do what they can to push you away. Now, anything in life, if you want to be successful at it, it's not easy. So you have to expect these periods of time. You have to expect things to be difficult sometimes. And with property investing, there's no doubt that we are going to go through this period right now where things are tougher and things become harder to achieve. Now, I don't know if this video's been of any use to you or provided any help. If it has, please let me know by hitting the thumbs up button or leaving a comment below. I'm here to be transparent. I'm here to teach people about property in a genuine and honest manner. So if you'd like to discuss the things that I've said in this video today, please let me know and I'll happily discuss it. Also, don't always believe what the media says. Take it with a pinch of salt. Do your own research. Do the figures yourself. If you find a good property with good rental potential and the figures don't quite work out, just remember that in periods like this, you can negotiate properties. But prior to the pandemic, every property that I purchased, I negotiated at least 5 or 10% off the asking price. Then during the pandemic, when property went really popular, there was absolutely no chance you could do that. Every property went for more than it was on offer for. And now I think we're getting back to the times where you are in a good position to negotiate a lower price than what they're asking for. Now this might just be the difference between making the property work, making it viable, and not. So always focus on your numbers, get them right, have a good feel for the property, have a good feel for the deal, and if everything stacks up, don't be afraid to go for it. Well, that's the end of this quick video. Please make sure you follow me on Instagram as I'll be posting more things on there, and you can also DM me if you need any help or advice, and I'll catch you soon.